Welcome to the Recruitment Rollercoaster podcast. My name is Hisham Azuz, and today I am joined by Alicia Teagle, who is one of the co-founders of SR2 Recruitment, and who is an all-round legend, apparently. But look, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
I know, obviously, you've been meeting clients and everything, but you're from Bristol.
I am indeed Bristol,
Very
born and
well
bred.
travelled to come in
Very proud
to do a podcast.
Thank you.
So look, big thank you. And look, where I always love to start, let's go back to the story as to how Alicia Teagle got into recruitment. How did that happen? Let's start there.
Alan Sugar. Do you know what? My story is so similar to yours.
Really?
So I did 2 seasons in Iron Upper.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What was your shot girl?
Iron Upper. Yeah, I
Really?
was. Shot girl.
You can make an
Podium
absolute
dancer.
killing as a shot girl, can't you?
Yeah,
Like literally
exactly.
an absolute killing.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
was
joke.
amazing. Best 2 summers. I actually got swine flu my last season.
Really?
So my dad had to come out and get me.
Oh,
yeah.
savage.
Yeah, really bad.
Why did you pick Iron Upper? Did you like go to there on holiday year before?
No, it was just literally, I was actually supposed to be going to Cyprus with my ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
And so that was all booked. Got a suitcase for my birthday and
Yeah,
the tickets
yeah.
were inside. Then we split up a couple of months before. The girls were going out to Iron Upper. So I was like, I could just change my flights. We're already going to
Oh my
Cyprus
God.
and go to Iron Upper.
And you stayed out there?
And I stayed out there.
Oh my God, so you went from going on a couple's holiday
Yeah.
to doing a season in Iron Upper?
Yeah, for
Jesus
4
Christ.
months 4 months each
That's
year.
jokes.
So
That's
yeah,
class.
it was amazing. Then when I got back, I joined an insurance company.
Really?
Yeah. So
Oh,
I
wow.
joined Liverpool Victoria Insurance,
nice.
LV. Did sales for like 2 years, absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And then sort of got the phone phobia and just was like,
It's
I need to
it's
do
just
a bit.
transactional, isn't it?
Yeah, I just needed to do something more. So I moved into a sales trainer
Yeah.
role with LV. I was with LV for about 4.5 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then from LV, I decided, my time was up there. Moved over to RAC as one of their sales trainers, senior sales trainers. And sorry, RAC, I just didn't like your culture. So, and baffled me some of the ways of working, but
Really?
hopefully it's changed. And I was there for 8 months, and during that 8 months, I had seen some recruitment things going on, and I was like, "Shall I give this a go?"
Did you have any exposure with agencies at that point? 'Cause we used to
no.
do a lot. We used to do a lot with LV.
No,
Oh, okay.
nothing. I went everything direct, so
enough,
I'd
fair
never.
enough.
I don't think I'd ever been for an agency.
Fair enough. Okay.
And then, anyway, yeah, 8 months at RIC, saw some recruitment things, and you get sucked in by the money. Oh, you can make 100 grand a year,
Yeah,
woo!
yeah.
And then I thought, yeah, let's give it a go. I was making really good money at LV on the phone as a trainer. Then going from, I think I was maybe on about 35 grand a year base as a sales trainer,
Yeah.
to seeing something that's 17 grand. I was like, oh my God, what am I thinking? But do you
Really?
know what? Like,
Wow.
let's give it a go. And when I thought, I'm going to do recruitment, I found Oliver George, who are a rec to rec in Bristol, got contacted by Max. Max was like, right, we're going to send you to all of these companies. And I was just like, oh my God, what am I doing? I can't interview all these places. Anyway, went in. I think I interviewed 8 places. I got, not being big-headed, I got offered all 8.
Really?
And I chose a very small company of 4 people to join. Biggest mistake I've ever made. Actually, that's a complete lie. It's not the biggest mistake. It led me to a lot of things. So it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, sure.
So joined a really small company called Stream. I thought, 4 people, they can teach me everything I know. I'll get fully supported. The owner's next to me. It was awful. Awful. And then as soon as I joined, I obviously learned about LinkedIn, put on LinkedIn that I was here. Chris, who's my business partner and MD of SR2, messaged me and said, why have you joined there? You need to come and speak to me.
Really?
I know you're friends. I know that you'll be
How did
amazing.
you know Chris at that point then?
Not really,
What was the
through friends of friends.
Okay.
Okay.
So we just saw that you went there on LinkedIn and he was already in recruitment
Yes.
and obviously knew the market.
Yeah, so he had already done Opus. He was then at Randstad as sales director for Bristol, and he messaged me. He was 3 weeks into the role, and went and met him on. It's a funny story actually. Went and met him after work, and he told me all about Randstad, and I was like, oh my God, I've made a really bad decision. I'm not going to do recruitment. He's like, you are. This is how I'm going to make you amazing. Sold me the dream, and I was like, okay. And he's like, you need to come back, meet Mike, who's the MD of Randstad Tech. Tomorrow lunch, I'll meet you here. And I was like, okay. So went for lunch, and I'm sat in the restaurant, and the owner
of your current
owner
company,
of the current company just walks
shit.
past like this, and
Did you have red hair at that point as well?
Oh God, no! I'm naturally blonde. I'm only red because I'm like pushing 30, and I think I'm having a midlife crisis. But yeah, so anyway, I walked back into the office after getting the offer, and I was like, I'm going to join you, and I just said I'm leaving. He was like, yeah, I guessed that, but I'm not paying you. I said, well, you do need to pay me because I've been there like 3 weeks. Anyway, got the money. Joined Randstad. I was Chris's first hire, and we had an absolute ball for 3 years.
That's quite similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
So that was it, and then the rest is history, should we say?
Very quickly, because I was like to ask. So did you like research recruitment then, basically? Like, what did you have a perception of recruitment before you started looking into it, or not really?
Not really. I didn't know it. No one that I knew was in recruitment.
So what made you think I wanted to get into recruitment then?
Job adverts, just the money. Yeah, just the money, and thinking, oh yeah, let's just give this a go. I had no idea what it entailed. Nothing.
Really?
No.
Literally no expectation.
But I knew it was sales. I was good at sales from what I'd done in the past, but nothing. I just thought, I'm one of those people that will just try something, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
If you don't mind me asking, how old was you at that point when you had to take a pay cut?
23.
Really?
Yeah.
Just living at home?
I think so. Yeah, I was living with Dad. Yeah.
Because what did you have to take, like 10k more pay cut?
Yeah, I went from 35 grand to 17 grand.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then I was like, shit, what have I done? But they tell you that this is the pay cut that you're going to do.
However,
do this, do this, do this, do this. Yeah. So I knew that straight away that I was going to be skin, and I needed to make some serious money, so I needed to work hard, and I'm not afraid of hard work, so I just got on with it.
So very quickly, like just before we dive into Randstad, so how long was you at Randstad?
3.5 years.
Okay, cool. So look, you don't have to be super personal, but like why was that first place not great? Because I think people can learn from that, right? What did you learn? Because a lot of people might be listening to this who are considering recruitment or may end up in a company that are like, oh fuck, what have I done? Like, what were some of the things that you recognised after you'd met them in interview and stuff like that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What things did you realise?
From the small company, for the first place, and I completely agree. Like, I've said this to the girls that I've hired who said, I don't want to do recruitment again. I've joined this place, it's not right for me. I never want to do it again. I'm like, no, come on. I joined a small company thinking that they were going to be able to give me all their time and invest everything into me, and sitting next to the owner of the business would be a great thing. Yeah, that's why I joined the
company I did.
Yeah, so it would be a great thing. And to be honest, the owner used to sit in the coffee shop outside and look up at us and wave, and on my first hour he said, call this person, and I said, okay, but what do I say? And he was like, just go with it. And I was like, yeah, but I have no idea about this company. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't even know what Java is. Like, how am I, like, I can't wing it that much. I can wing something, but not being an hour into a brand new industry, a brand new role, all surrounded by all blokes, being the only female, and just going, oh shit, I can't do this. So straight away I was on the back foot thinking, I'm not doing this. I feel so uncomfortable. And it didn't work, and that wasn't for me. But in the interview process then, like looking back, was there any key things that people could look out for? Do you know what I mean? To be fair, they sold me the dream.
Really?
Yeah, they sold me the dream of a small company. This is what you're going to get. This is the support which you can always, people can do in doing interviews.
How many people did you meet? Everyone?
2 people. So the two, well, the main cheese. And the second guy.
That's difficult, that, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was me probably being gullible, and also the rec to rec. And sorry, Max, if you do listen to this, but don't work with companies that aren't going to be right for someone as well. Like, get to know your candidate, whether now as a recruiter or a rec to rec, and understand what their motivations are or their type of personality, and put them in places where they're going to thrive, rather than just hoping that you're going to get paid and then it's rebate.
I mean, look, that happens so much, which is why, as you said, you've now hired people that ended up going into a recruitment company that was so far aligned with who they are, that then their perception of recruitment is just shite. Like, do you know what I mean? I think it is a mixture of that, isn't it? It's a mixture of people have really bad experiences in recruitment, so then they get spat out of the industry, and then they don't like using recruiters. And then you have businesses that then deal with shit recruiters as well. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so at Randstad for over 3 years, obviously that's a totally different ball game, isn't it? Obviously they're a huge company. So how big was your team when you joined? Was it just you and Chris?
No, there was so Chris was brought in because it wasn't doing well. The technology brand, so Randstad, obviously the huge beast it is, their technology brand was one in London and one in Bristol, and it was it just wasn't doing well. So Chris was brought in to revamp it and smash it out. Everyone had been there for like six-ish years, and there was 2 guys who'd been there for experience but only a couple of months. So there was about 7-8 of us in Bristol, and there was about 20 in London.
Okay, so he was part of this big beast, but it didn't feel like it probably.
Yeah, exactly. But I trusted Chris. He's changed my life.
Really?
So,
love that.
And he taught me everything that I knew. But with Randstad, yes, it is a smaller company, but the training, you go away for a week in Luton. Luton's not the best place, but the training, you learn the ins and outs.
Really
a trainer is sat next to you. My first sales call, she was sat next to me going, right, this is the support. It's a bit
different to the guy over at the coffee shop.
Exactly. So I think it's all the support, and it's the same. It's the S3s, it's the Hayes, it's the Randstad. You can't fault how they produce.
Learning, development, training people. Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay.
That comes from that.
And then the industry that you went in was tech from day one.
Yep, tech from day one, software development.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So let's talk a bit. How were your first 12 months then? I always like to dive into that.
I did really well.
Really?
I did my first deal within 3 weeks, which was really random because I printed off. Back in the day, I used to print off CVs. I don't know whether everyone used to do that. And I just used to have folders, and I used to write on CVs. Wow. I'm such a tree killer.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, why?
I just used to print off CVs, every CV, write notes on them, and then put them in folders. I don't know. It was my way of working. It worked. It's weird. Everyone not told me off, but said stop fucking printing off CVs.
Do you still do that now?
No. I don't even know where CVs are. I just find them somewhere. They're normally like in a folder or somewhere in the cloud.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of, I printed off a CV, and then Chris was sat next to me and he said, this guy's perfect for that. Where have you found him? And I said, I just got his CV on a piece of paper with all my notes on it. He said, send him to him here. Did my first deal within 3 weeks.
Cheers.
And then I was like, amazing. I'm great at recruitment. Yeah, this is so good. But then I didn't do a deal for 4 months.
For 4 months?
Yeah, after that first deal. I had 3 offers accepted and then turned around.
Fucking
and I can remember the third one. At Randstad, we had like a fire exit, and then somewhere that you looked over and there was a nightclub underneath, and that was the smoking area. And I said, I'm jumping off. I can remember Chris coming to get me and just being like, stop being such a drama queen, get inside. And I was like, okay, calm down. And then I smashed out 140 grand.
In the first year?
In the first year,
That's class. So you did 140k over really, what, 8 months really?
Yeah, 8-ish months.
7-8 months.
Yeah, and won loads of stuff. I mean, won like newcomer of the year, one to watch. And then, and it just sort of went on.
Let's break that down, and I think a lot of people get a lot of value out of that. So I think it's one of those, isn't it? Like when you do get when you get the deal so quickly, it's also a bit of like, it can also damage you a bit because you're like, this is easy, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, but let's talk about those, because a lot of people would probably quit in those 4 months. Do you know what I mean? That you had, because like, again, there's not like the fact that you still remember you probably remember exactly how you felt as well. Do you know what I mean? That's obviously so difficult to ride those waves of blanking and having those fallouts and those things. So I guess what did you learn through those 4 months, if you think about it? Like what kept you through, kept picking yourself back up and those things? Like how did you get through that? I
think, and I'm going to go back to him again, but Chris has been my support.
Okay, cool.
And also the team. I was the only female in Randstad for 9 months, and I was surrounded by men who literally lifted me up and supported me.
Really?
And
Amazing.
Made me feel, and they were all different ages, from my age to Johnny was probably, I don't want to say because I'm probably getting it wrong, like in his 40s.
Yeah.
And
she had a lot of support around you.
Loads of support, and they were all willing to give up their time, and it didn't matter like if they were going to see me succeed. I was first in the office, last leaving.
So it wasn't your work ethic.
And I knew I was doing something right because I was getting offers, but they just weren't going in for some reason. So it's a training thing that I wasn't maybe qualifying them enough and things like that. But I always say the biggest thing in recruitment, no matter what, is resilience. Like,
oh yeah, massively.
That is the biggest thing. And I say that to absolutely everyone. And when I've been asked about it a number of times, you've got to be resilient, and you've just got to go, do you know what, tomorrow's a new day, because otherwise you will quit, because this job can be the shittest job in the whole world, or it can be the best job in the whole wide world.
So I think what you talk, so I think when if you are experiencing a couple of bad months, right, it's like, okay, well, who can I speak to around it, who's experienced, that can help me understand why this is happening? Is it part of the process? Those things, because I think I definitely experienced the same thing. It took me 3 or so months, and I had a couple of offers, these things, and my boss, I always remember, he kept saying, like, Hisham, keep doing what you're doing. It's like it is going to pay off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, I only ended up building 24k my first year, but still, like, he kept saying, like, Hisham, keep doing what you're doing, blah blah blah. So I think what you're talking about there is, when you are having those really difficult months, it's like, especially when you're early on in your career, it's like, actually, this is a long-term play.
Yeah.
So I think it's just about trying to very quickly cultivate some perspective, isn't it? And go, okay, well, what can I learn from this? Like, my recruitment career is going to be longer than 4 months. So what can I learn from this, and then do better next time?
Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. So I guess, what did you end up doing differently then to build that much? By the end of year 1, do you know what I mean? What ended up? What changed?
The first deal that I did was like a really random role, maybe like an Android dev, for example. And I think that happens a lot in recruitment when someone new comes in, and we always say with the newbies that we've got, and newbies that came into Randstad, we sometimes the experienced person, just give them a job that's exclusive, work on that and fill it. It's not going to be in your market, but you're on your way then.
Gives them confidence.
Yeah, exactly. And it was a really random role, and then I literally learned the ins and outs of Java, like everything I could, from the candidates, all the companies, like just did the basics really well. And I was just relentless, and I just kept going and kept doing the same thing. I had a day planner every single day, and I was the only one who had a day planner in the whole office. And I just went, and I just did that. I did the basics really well, and I broke it down and just went for it. But understanding your market is so easily to get sidetracked. Say, for example, if you win a big client and there's so many different roles, and you're like, oh, money. But as soon as you're working a network engineer, first line support, third line support, a Java developer, C#, an iOS dev, like, that's where it all goes wrong. Stick to one thing that you're really good at and find out everything about it, know the ins and outs, and that's when
good advice.
Things kicked off.
People early on then, so you said you were relentless, but how did you go about doing that? Obviously, a lot of people say through the candidates, right? So literally shut up and listen, and speak to your candidates and find out about the market, right, through them. And then did you just, in your own time as well, actually really research the industry, the people, the businesses as well?
And as I said, super lucky to be surrounded by people who were like 10 years into recruitment, who knew what they were talking about. Like, I wasn't around people who didn't know, who were just trying to blag it. Like, they knew what they were on about. And I'm quite interested in technology as well myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm not a developer. I've tried to code. I'm awful at it.
Really?
And I'm never doing it again. But it does excite me, and I do get it.
That does help.
I
encourage you to learn
speak to
more
candidates, ask questions, be open, and just be like a human being, and like they want to tell you about themselves.
Who doesn't enjoy doing that?
So let them. Like, we're doing it now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, let them tell you about it. Ask open questions. Don't shut it down, and just be friends with them. Make friends. Be chilled. Be cool. And get to know them, and they'll respect you enough to open up. Sooner rather than later.
That. So very quickly then, before we talk about the things that went on after, like, I get a lot of questions that people want advice or help with, like BD, because obviously that I found that really hard initially. And so did you just crack on with that? You're probably someone that just cracked on and just did it. Like, have you got any advice for people early on?
My first client call, and I can remember, and Laura sat next to me, who is the trainer for Randstad. And I picked up the call to Kevin Ling Ying, who is the CTO at Future Publishing. And ring, ring, he answered, hello, Kevin. Hi, Kevin, it's Alicia. Hi, Alicia. And I put the phone down. And I was like, and I literally can remember it. And I turned around and looked at Laura, and she just went, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. I don't really know. She was like, call him back. I was like, I can't. She was like, call him back. I was like, okay. And I was like, hi, Kevin. I didn't really mean to do that. I was like, I tripped over the phone.
That's class.
And the phone pulled out. Anyway, and just like, it was just a blur then.
Yeah,
it was just a blur.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, again.
Would you tell people now then when they start yours, like, how do you help them get through that? Because it's hard.
Just go, like, everyone is here, and I've heard it on your podcast. I've heard it on a few people. These are all human beings. You're here to solve a problem. Find their pain, solve their problem. And by solving their problem, don't be an asshole, don't be a dick, don't be in their face, and find a really good candidate that they need, and they'll speak to you, and then build on that relationship. BD, people are, and I completely get with recruitment, you're either a candidate driven person, a client driven person, 360, 180, whatever. Just go for it. Like, I always say, Dr. Pepper, what's the worst that can happen? That's what I always say to people.
Really?
Like, really, what is the worst thing?
No,
they're not going to come round and stab you, are they?
No, it's simple, but like, it's good to ask yourself that when you are feeling a bit anxious and things like that, because it's like, literally, what is the worst that can happen? That person put the phone down. Like, that literally is it. And you look like a muppet for a couple of seconds, but that is literally it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So what then went on for the next couple of years then? So did the thing just kept on getting better and better?
Yeah.
Really?
Like, Randstad grew massively. Like, Chris did an amazing job. We had like training academy. We got up to like 70 people. Like,
really?
London,
in Bristol?
London like shut down, and things were just going amazingly.
Really?
I was doing really well. I was getting bought Mulberries and Louboutins and all things like, literally living the dream. We had the best time. Like, I was like mid-20s, I was going out, we were in Clifton, and it, like, working with my best friends who I absolutely loved. Like, it couldn't have got better. Then management changed, senior up. Technology recruitment is, I believe, and again, I don't know about like engineering, I think it's very similar, maybe financial services as well, but tech is a completely different beast in terms of recruitment, say to like a business support recruitment or education, etc. And we had a new MD who came in who was Randstad for years, but was from business support, and it was a completely different way of working, and like the KPIs that were put in place, and just a lot of things changed. And we had an amazing couple of years, which when we were left to our own devices, Chris was running it. He was running the show and he was doing amazing. And honestly, we were making serious money for the business. And we were all making great money ourselves. So I was a consistent like 180, 220 biller. And things just changed.
Well, look, when things are really great, that, I guess, look, that's the downside of big companies, right?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, you can be doing great in your own little bubble, which from your perspective, you're like, I'm making all this cash for this company. And then when things change, when you're like, hang on a minute, why does it need to change this way and those things? That makes complete sense, isn't it? And that is a challenge when you work for a bigger company, isn't it? Yeah,
and you can't, like, we were only in our own bubble. No one knew who we were. If we said Randstad Technology, people were like, huh? And we're like, we're this massive business, but no one knew Randstad Tech. We weren't on LinkedIn. We were just doing really well, just keeping ourselves to ourselves. And it was madness. And we were like, we're not sharing about things. We're not doing anything extra. We're literally just coming in, doing the job really, really well, not being dicks, not being assholes, just doing what we do.
Just doing the right thing.
And it's working, but we're not screaming or shouting about it because we can't, because we've got a big beast of Randstad looking down on us. We don't have any autonomy. There's KPIs that were ridiculous in place. And time had come.
So is that when and then did you leave to set up SR2 then? Or?
So Chris set up SR2. I had already, so the business was sort of in plan. Again, I didn't know much about it. I'd already left, and then was contacted by Chris to say, do you want to come and start SR2 basically.
Okay. All right. And then how long have you been running SR2 now?
19 months.
19 months.
Yeah.
So still quite early, isn't it?
Still very early. Okay. I have no brain, but it's good.
Well, before we dive into all that, like, so billings wise,
yes,
what's been your best year then?
Probably going to be this year.
Really?
Yeah, which is insane because I do a million other things, and I just think, how do I still continue to bill? But probably I think I'll do about 260, 280 this year.
Okay. And it's sort of predominantly perm you do, isn't it?
Yeah, I do perm. I've got a contract book of about, I don't even know what contract book, maybe $3,000 a week.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do dual desk.
Yeah.
But I don't go after contract stuff is normally from my perm clients that need a contractor rather than specialising in contract, because I've always done perm is what I know is what I'm good at, and my candidates, my network is perm. So
okay, so let's talk about more recent times then. So I guess let's talk about initially. I think there'll be a lot of people listening that are thinking about setting up on their own and have those thoughts, and may even be in a big company, like literally probably the identical background, right? So what things have you learned early on that, like, obviously it's totally different to being employed, right? So I guess what things have you learned early on by being obviously a shareholder in SR2 and it being your own business that you can talk about that'd be useful?
That when you walk in on day one and you turn on the computer and you look at a database, which maybe if you had an old database at a big company, there's like, I mean, back in the day, your cell was, our database got 500,000 people on it. To go in, we have no people on the database. Crazy. The only person that was on the database that Chris put on was Jordan Warren. Jordan Warren was actually, we employed him at Randstad, but he was internal recruiter at UCAS in Cheltenham. Oh, really? And we just knew who it was. So we just put him on. We were like, one person. Our database is awful. Like, really? I don't even know. Like, we just don't have a database. Our database is up here and LinkedIn and our networks. But starting a business, I mean, it's just, do you know what? It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Really? But the hardest thing that it's challenged my brain so differently, but also challenged myself as a person. Like, I've had the most up and down in terms of, like, not mental health, but anxiety and expectation. Like, I come from a very successful family. Really? Yeah, who work really hard. I've got that. I wasn't good at school. I got some GCSEs, but then I was like, nah, I'm out. Yeah. Went into beauty and hairdressing, as you do when you're a 17-year-old girl and don't know what to do.
When you say you had a really successful family, what do you mean?
So my family just great business owners. They own a very successful bus and coach company. Okay. Which is very well known.
So what did they say when you were going line up then?
Go for it. Just don't expect me to pay for your phone bill, which I did up. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But they made, like, I went to work when I was 15.
Yeah. They still did that early on.
I got bought my car, but that was it.
Yeah,
like,
fair enough.
Everything else is my own
give everything to you with a silver spoon.
No, nothing.
Fair enough.
And so the expectation, but not only from my family, but for the expectation that I've put on myself, and that I think that I've given out to the market, being a female business owner and co-founder, and everything that I do, I've set an expectation, and I drive myself mad sometimes because I can't deliver that expectation. I work myself to the ground.
You're very critical of yourself.
Yeah, massively. Oh my God, I overthink absolutely everything, and it drives myself mad. Yeah. But yeah, so like, be like prepared to go on a roller coaster of complete emotions that you would never imagine, because you care so much about a business, and because there is so much on the line. There's a house, like Chris's house, on the line, and I know he won't mind me saying that, but for Make the Business Work, within our first month of starting SR2, we sat in Piccolinos, we all went, we're never going to do this, Chris, you're just going to have to move in with me. Really? But we were only joking. It was only because, of course, we're not going to do it in our first month, but we wanted to smash it. And to be fair, after we looked back, and in our 4 months, we were like, oh, we've done our target for 6 months in 3. So that, and just expect a crazy amount of emotion, but passion, emotional passion.
Well, I think, obviously, look, if you're going from being employed, like, you're not going to start your own business unless it's something that, I mean, the buck stops with you ultimately, doesn't it? So exactly. That obviously ties into, like, the standards that you have for yourself, and you'll feel every deal. You'll feel like
be prepared to be skint as well, because 35 to 17, imagine 6 figures down to a very small salary that you do take for your own business. We're not going to say, we're all going to take the same salary as what we had. So even that.
So how have you, has there obviously, I know you've done really well, but was there any times where you're looking around at Chris, each of them, like, fuck, like, we're in a really bad place, or like has it always been pretty positive, to be fair?
Yeah, it's like
really?
It has, yeah. Like
Fair
we
enough.
haven't, of course there's some months that are better than others, and we lost money for one month, but then we're like, well, look at what our pipeline is for the next month. So we haven't had that. Are we going to have it? Yes, probably. But not in like our first year is when you go, right, we've got a loan to pay off, because we're self-funded. We're not anyone else. So we have to pay that off, and that was a big focus. But yeah, we haven't had that.
Yeah, touch wood.
Yeah,
nice.
touch wood. So, but of course, we've had times where we've hated each other and almost wanted to.
Emotions, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So how have you managed those? Like, because you know what I mean. Like, that's how have you through that process? Have you ended up doing the things that have really helped those times where you're like, oh my god, like my anxiety is through the roof?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Have you is there anything now that you do every day or that you've learned that's helped? Because even when you're employed, and if you're listening and you have your own business, that's the hardest thing, isn't it? Ultimately it's understanding that you are going to have to ride these waves. It's okay to feel the things that you are feeling, but you need to get better at managing those emotions, right? So
and hide them from other people.
Yeah, especially when you're employing new people and these things. So like, what have you ended up doing? Anything that has really helped?
Yeah, like throughout definitely the last 2 years, my friendships have changed quite a lot from starting business, because they don't understand.
Outside of work, yeah,
outside of work, I've got the most amazingest group of friends, but sometimes they don't get it. They don't understand when they're like meeting up after work and I'm still at work, or that I'm away all the time, or that I'm talking at events. They're just like, they don't necessarily get it. So I haven't really had them. Yeah, I can speak to them, but all they do is go, you're amazing, you can keep doing this. So it's all positive stuff just to up me, but I don't really need that.
You need a bit more than that.
Yeah, exactly. I am very good. I've got a dog called Boris.
Okay.
Who's Black Lab. He's 10 and a half, bought him when I was 18.
Oh, wow.
And he's amazing. He's my best friend. He comes everywhere with me.
So he's helped you out.
This is really weird that I speak to him, but I actually do tell him.
Really?
Like,
How are you feeling on that?
Boris, I've had a shit day.
That's class.
And he's just like, and I'm like, oh, come on, love me.
Okay.
So
what is that though? Is that you getting things off your chest?
Yeah, things off my chest. And that's like, and I'm going to big him up again, but with Chris, I tell him everything. He knows that as soon as I'm in a bad mood, as soon as there's something wrong, like he's just got me. He's just got my brain, and he's like that's just amazing. An amazing person that I will rant to him and I will go mad.
So you're
sometimes.
Someone that just needs to
locked ourselves in a room, out of the way of everyone else.
You just need to release.
Yeah.
You're someone that just needs to. Some people just want to write shit down. You like to talk to dogs.
Yeah, talk
to Chris.
And then I'm literally fine then.
But once you get it off your chest, you feel much better. Yeah. So anyone that's listening, if you haven't got a dog, I don't know.
Get one.
Get a dog. Speak to your wall. I don't know. Speak to something.
Yeah.
Right?
Speaking is the best thing.
I guess ultimately it's just it's actually getting what you're thinking in your head and like out. And there is something in that in terms of feeling an actual relief of writing something down or share, just shouting about it or whatever, right?
And like I've been approached by a mentor. I've been approached by 2 now actually.
Well, they've approached you. What, as in they want to mentor you? Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. And like I was like, okay, and like these are big
what was that
people.
like then? As in like how did that go? Did they approach you and was like, I like what you're doing? Da, da, da.
One of them was through someone.
Okay.
And
did
went
you
to
want
the event.
A mentor?
I hadn't ever thought about it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, and then I went to one event and it was amazing. It was such a good event. And thinking about maybe doing that, but I think it's also got a lot of people and I'd rather have one. But I went to an event last week. I don't know whether he'll mind me saying, I'm sure he won't, but I was at an event the other day and we were all sat on different tables. And
what event is this?
This was the Tech Talent Charter in Cheltenham. Which is diversity and inclusion. I've been to 2 in the last week.
Yeah.
But this one, and I sat on the table and we had an activity halfway through and my whole table, and we were all split up. So I only took one of the girls with me, but she was sat on a different table. It was all walks of life, all different people, and sat down and we did an activity and they said, okay, what do you all do for diversity and inclusion? And the whole table was silent and just like, and I thought, God, I'm going to have to speak, aren't I? And I just went, okay, so this is all that I do.
Yeah.
And then halfway through, I thought, Alicia, shut up, because all of these people are going to want to speak to you after, which is not a bad thing, but I'm just like crazy busy at the moment. So I think, oh my God, no more people, please.
Yeah.
But this is a good thing. But anyway, he is their head of HR business partner for Elsevier. So a huge business. And he messaged me after and was like, I need to speak to you.
Really?
And he got on the phone to me and I had him on loudspeaker. I don't know why I had him on loudspeaker. Only for like a couple of minutes I was doing something.
Yeah.
And I've never had someone speak so like amazingly about me. And I was literally like, oh my God. He was literally like, you're the most inspirational, amazingest person I've ever met. Like, you are amazing. And I was just like, all right, like, bloody hell.
Yeah.
I was like...
When he feels like he can help you.
Yeah. And it was...
That's amazing.
And I was just shocked. I was like, what, you really want to help me? He's like, yeah, I want to mentor you through your life.
Really?
And I was like, okay.
That's awesome.
Maybe, let's talk about it. But then, and...
That's really cool.
Yeah, that was only last week, so there's obviously nothing set in stone
but still,
or anything.
I think. Well, look, I think if from the way you're describing Chris and these things, Chris is a mentor to you.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like totally that. So I think.
I think we're all mentors to each other in different ways because we're all so different. Like Chris has brought us together, and his speciality is people.
Really?
And knowing the little special things about different people.
Yeah.
And he's brought all four of us together as co-founders, because he sees something different in all of us, and we work so well together.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's what makes him a good recruiter, right?
Okay.
Okay, cool. So speaking to your dog has helped.
Yes.
Getting things off your chest. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I think from day one, it seems like you've been surrounded by some amazing people. So if 80% of the recruitment industry only employ up to 9 people.
Yeah.
So I think if you are listening and you do feel lonely right now, because a lot of people do, right? When they go set up on their own these things, I think that's the thing that I'm sure you're super grateful for, Chris, and everyone around you. I think your story there is that actually share your story or reach out to people that can help, and that is going to be really beneficial. So I think it seems like through that process, having those people around you, those things have really helped.
Yeah.
So I guess,
and 100%, like if like I haven't got loads of time, but if anyone like wants...
Well, I think it's interesting. So I think what you're trying to say is that you need to say no to... You need to say... You've had to learn to say no to people. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think you mentioned your friends, and I can probably relate to this. I've got really good friends, but I think there'll be a lot of people listening to this who are setting up their own business or recruit at the moment, and when they are saying I'm working till 8 p.m. or whatever, as soon as you say the word work to someone that doesn't quite get it, they instantly just associate just like, oh, why are you working? Do you know what I mean? As soon as you say that word work,
I know.
it's like, oh, why?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's the thing at the end of the day, it's like you've got to build a network of people, friends, etc. that get what, do you know what I mean? Get what you're doing.
And that's why recruitment, like you create amazing friendships through people that you work with, because you're with them for 70 hours a week. And you do, and all different recruitment companies have just got this group, this clique, haven't they? That because you're all in it together.
Yeah. So tell me a bit more about the business then, because what I find really interesting about you is obviously, so is it 5% that you give to charity?
Yes. Yeah.
Why do you do that?
So SR2 stands for Social Responsible Recruitment, and like I said earlier, we've been really good at and been successful in terms of recruiters individually and as a group of people doing what we do best, but not shouting about it. And
why haven't you shouted about it?
Randstad.
Really?
Not letting us. But recruitment has got a bad name. It has.
Of course it has.
But me personally, I've never been a dick, and I've never been... When I hear stories, I'm like, oh my God,
Bad.
Like, how can you be like that as a human being? Like, how can you do it?
Yeah.
And that's all of us as well. Like me, Nate, Steve and Chris, we've never been
You've just done the right thing.
Yeah, just done it right and loved our industry and loved what we do. So, but we wanted to put people over profit. I've always been a massive charity person. So is Chris, we all have. And the book came from People Over Profit by Del Partridge, and it's an amazing book and everyone should read it. But that's where the business idea came from, that we wanted to give 5% of our profits back to underrepresented charities in Bristol and support our community. I've mainly always recruited in Bristol. I do quite a lot in London now. But in terms of Bristol, I love Bristol. Like, it is my city. I'm born and bred Bristol. You could probably tell by the accent. It's
Have you got a Bristol tattoo?
No. I've just got Bristol City strapped across my back, up the gas. Oh no, that's Bristol Rovers. I don't do football. Well, I do a bit of football, but only because blokes speak about all the time. But yeah, so we wanted to give back to our community, and not only with 5% of our profits, but we wanted to create a community-driven recruitment company, and that was our mission and always has been. So it's nice to give back. Like we make a lot of money as a business. Recruitment is really lucrative. Why not give back? Like like CSR
so
and
it's just
social responsibility
so it's just aligned
is a
with you
massive
guys.
thing.
It's just aligned with you guys,
and it just makes us feel good and makes us work harder, that we know that we're giving that money to someone, they really need it.
That's awesome.
So and we've given, in September we'd have given £17,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Just in September alone, or as in up to date?
Oh no, up to September.
Amazing.
So hopefully it'll be 17,000. But it should
amazing.
Be a bit above that,
So how many people are you at now?
So we are going to be 12 on Wednesday.
12 on Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I guess, how do you sell recruitment now to new people that join? How do you sell recruitment?
To be fair, we haven't got anyone junior straight out of.
Oh, have you always got
they've always got experienced
Fair
people.
enough.
So they've come to us, which is amazing. Yeah, apart from Shah, and Shah took a little bit of work. She was someone who had joined another company, didn't get on well, and now she's absolutely smashing
sell her on recruitment again.
Yeah, and just say, look, every recruitment company's not the same. Let me tell you the story. Took her for a wine. We had a chat, and then.
So why do you think people come to you?
Because we're completely different. Like we are completely different to every recruitment company. Yeah, but just like we are. Like
why are you different?
We host and sponsor 6 different meetups.
Market leading events.
Yeah. Bristol JavaScript, PHP Southwest, Bristol Golang, Ladies to UX, Bristol DevOps and Cloud Native. I run Bristol Tech Volunteers, which is a completely different setup, but within SR2. Run Women Rock. We've got a really good name in the industry now that we've built up. And we're different in the way that, like, even our culture, like, everything is so chill. You don't have one target. You've got your annual target. You go and do whatever you need to do to go and hit that.
Really?
We don't care. We've got a scrum board. Every Monday and every Wednesday we stand up and we go, these are our candidates, and then we move them across to interview, and then we pledge. And that's all we've got. There's no targets against it. We have unlimited holiday. We've got a financial advisor. We've got, we do boot camp every Monday lunchtime, 4:00 finish, 10:30 finish a week, flexible working, 1 2-hour lunch a week. Like loads of benefit. Like, we've created a culture which is just chill. Like, you do whatever, and everyone does things differently in our office. You don't have to stick to one thing. We will support you however you want to do it, but just go and do it the way that you want to. And if you're underachieving, we'll help you. If you're overachieving, then of course just keep going, but just do what you need to do to be successful and hit your annual target. So
and the thing is about that, there'll probably be a lot of people, look, you hear work-life balance so much now, right? And flexible working and all that, and traditionally in recruitment, that hasn't really been the case, has it? So it's like, so there'll be a lot of people listening that do want a bit more autonomy in those things, do you know what I mean? But it can be challenging to get that within the businesses they're in. So how obviously they could go join your company, but like, how can people... They have to build trust, right? Is what I think. They have to build trust, and then they have to say why they want to work from home one day or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, how can people? What's your view on, like, how can people get those types of benefits? Do you know what I mean? Because how can they have more autonomy in their role? It's challenging.
I think, honestly, in recruitment, you can't necessarily have the best work-life balance. Like, it's true, because you need to, like, I'm a person that, and it's always been bred into me, like, I get in at 7:30, I do the job boards, I do a 24-hour search, 7:30 every single morning. Like, that's just what I've always done, and I will always do it, and that's how I've seen success. Not necessarily just from that, there's obviously loads of other things, but so that's my religion, that's what I do. And I think with recruitment, the more you put in, the more you get out. Absolutely. So work-life balance comes with experience. Like we wouldn't let someone junior work from home.
Exactly.
To be fair, we don't actually do work from home. I mean, we say if you need to work from home, but we don't like.
Well, I guess
set it.
you give them autonomy in a way. Yeah, but you give them autonomy in a way. It's like this is what your target is. You approach it how you want to approach it.
Like they're all in the office today with not one of the founders. They're just chilling, doing what they need to do. Yeah. Because they've proved themselves. They know what they're doing, and because they respect us. Yeah. And respect the business and love what they do. Like all of them. We all love coming to work every day.
Well, they tell you that.
Yeah, literally they do. Like the girls, like the girls, and it's because the girls do come to me. They speak to me a lot if they're having a bad day, if they're having a bad month, whatever. They'll speak to me. Like I go and I'll just buy them. Like I'll go to H&M on the way home, buy them a t-shirt that says "You're a badass" or something, and then just leave it on their desk the next day. It's just little things, isn't it? But they all do love, and they tell me, like they'll message me after work just saying, "I love you."
Really?
And I'm like, "I love you too."
That's awesome.
And that's like what we do. It's weird. If I could put it in a jar and sell it and say this is how we've done it, then I would. But I think look, you said it from the very beginning of this, is like you, Chris, everyone else that's been involved, like you just do the right thing. Yeah. And look, I've sat down with a lot of people now, and you'll be surprised how many times it does actually come down to that. Is like, look, if you're in recruitment for the long game, like it's like be a good human, like do the right thing, and it will pay dividends long term. We're not going to be taken over by a computer. We're never going to be taken over by a computer. And good recruiters will always be there, and recruiters will always be needed. Whether people shout about us or whatever they say, we will always be needed. So
sure. Let's talk a bit about like some tactical stuff then. So you seem someone that's quite organised.
Oh God, do I? Yeah, no, I am.
Yeah. So look, no, a lot of people ask me. they really like listening. So look, you've been a very consistent biller, right? And that's difficult to do that, especially now that you're running your own business as well. So I guess, how do you structure your day? Let's talk a bit about that. So you get in at 7:30.
Yeah, I get in at 7:30.
That's early.
Yeah, I drop off the dog. I start my day at 5:30. I go to the gym. I listen to 5 podcasts, and that's what I do. No, I don't.
You don't have a dog in the office?
Yeah,
he's not allowed in the office?
Yeah, no, but if I'm like out and about, then I'll take him to my nan's.
Fair enough. So 7:30.
7:30, get in 24-hour searches, bish bash bosh.
What did you say? 24 what?
24-hour searches.
What do you mean by that?
So updates in the last 24 hours.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Also,
how long do you do that for?
Probably takes me about 15 minutes, 20
Okay.
minutes. Go get coffee.
Yeah.
Have a shake.
Okay.
I'm not a gym freak, by the way. This is just
so I used to do that first thing. So what you're looking out for is if there's like a brand new candidate on there, and then if you get hold of them, are you telling them to get off the job board?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the approach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I have to do.
Mobile text.
All right, cool.
It's rare nowadays to find a candidate on the job board, but if you don't do it, then you feel like you're
still,
oh my God, imagine if I miss someone.
If you're listening and you get someone on the job board, that you have to get them off the job board.
Get them off the job board. Say you will get 1,000,001 calls, and you will hate your life.
You should work with me.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So you do that.
Yeah, do that. Then grab a coffee, and then usually go on. I don't scroll through LinkedIn like homepage because I just get distracted. So just go on LinkedIn, recruiter, see if I've got any messages. My email's usually up to date because we're recruiters, we're on our emails 24/7. And then I don't know, I just get on. I just do what I need to do.
What do you do? There's more in there. Do you not block out things?
Every day is different.
So do you not block out time for BD, sourcing?
No.
Really?
No. I honestly, and I don't do BD.
Really?
Yeah, I don't do it.
What, are you too fancy for it now?
No, because I've run a couple of big accounts now that do take up like I don't need to do it anymore. I've got amazing clients that I love, like that are my best friends now, that I just love working with them, and they're exclusive clients. Candidates, when you're in tech, it's a candidate driven market. There's not going to be millions of candidates. And so, no, I don't do BD.
Okay.
None of us, we don't have a structured day. You just do. Yeah, you just do what you need to do. Like, we don't have 2 till 4 is sales time. We just don't have it. I know,
but you've got to prioritise activities that are going to get you.
Yeah, like I am doing, if I'm not organising events, I'm at a meeting. If I'm doing a blog, if I'm speaking, and then there's all different things. My day is different. I organise my day every single day depending on what my diary says.
Really? But you
and
make
then
time
I'll
to
work
organise
around it. Yeah, every single morning. Yeah, so one of my ambassadors for Women Rock is Georgie Hopkinson, and she is the agile coach at OVO Energy, and she agiled my life a couple of weeks ago. So agile is a way of working. Okay. And it's all about prioritizing and putting this week, this day. So I do a day plan every single day, and I put little boxes next to everything. And once I've done it, I tick it off.
Really?
And then
that feels good, doesn't it? Ticking things off.
God, I love it. And by the end of the day, I'm only allowed to take one thing over until the next day.
What, say that again?
So say on my day plan, so I'm only allowed to take one thing over.
So if you didn't do 3 things, you can only take one thing over.
I can only take one thing over, because that means that they're not really important and they don't really need to do. But I still keep hold of them, because just in case that someone calls me and was like, you were supposed to send me that. Yeah. Because it could be anything. When you're co-founder, and yes, I do still bill, but there's so many other things that I'm doing.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not just candidate. And you're not smashing the phone anymore. I probably make about 10 calls a week. I do my recruitment over WhatsApp.
Really?
Yeah.
What, as in just texting?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Literally clients, candidates.
Mad.
On WhatsApp. I change my picture depending on who I'm speaking to.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Really?
It's either the dog, my boobs out. No, I'm joking. Yeah, wow. No, it's
How long has it been like that though? Because
since SR2.
Really?
Well, probably like a year actually. Not.
What? Yeah,
probably since SR2.
So just when you say WhatsApping, you just giving them updates? Are you trying to give people offers on WhatsApp or what? Yeah. Really? Offers,
updates. I have done, and this is not what I do. Meet every single one of my clients. I don't meet every single one of my candidates. Because some of them are in London, I'm in Bristol. But I sometimes won't even speak to them, and I'll just do the whole thing over text. That was with Jack Smith. I did that.
Shut up.
The whole thing over text, and he only works upstairs. And then when he came down, I was like, "Placed you," and he's like, "Hi." I was like, "Hi," and then we just get on really well now. We just have beers.
Fucking hell! Yeah. That's mad.
I know. It is. It's but tech's different. Tech is so different to any other industry. That's how they don't want to speak to people. They're busy. They're working themselves. I would much rather I would respond to someone over text than I would over the phone.
I think you are right. You've got to know what works for your market.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think if anyone could look at their phone, and if they have a WhatsApp notification, they're gonna fucking go on it and they're gonna answer it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing more annoying than seeing that red notification.
And don't leave me on blue. No,
I like that. I think you've got to respect your industry. You've got to respect your market. But ultimately, I think WhatsApp is huge. And you need to be using it. And I think there is something about if I'm texting Alicia and she's my recruiter on WhatsApp. I don't know, the way that I'm perceiving that is not that I trust you straight away, but not that we're mates, but it's a bit different.
Yeah, it's just.
Do you know what I mean?
More relaxed, not so corporate, professional. I was speaking to my client at 10 o'clock last night, just on WhatsApp.
Yeah, but you need to stop working. You're a workaholic.
No, I'm not a workaholic. I do actually. I'm really good at switching off.
Yeah.
I'm a really good sleeper. Really good at switching off.
Really? Okay. Yeah. So a few other things before we wrap up. So you do all these meetups and stuff, and I think recruitment businesses love to do meetups, and they are really effective, right? So how can people how did you go about starting those? Do you know what I mean? Any advice around that? Because a lot of people will want to do meetups, and it's a great way to generate leads and become a bit of a thought leader and a go-to person in your market. So how did you go about setting these meetups up?
I think it came from Naif. So Naif always did infrastructure at Randstad, did really, really well. But when he started S2, he was like, I want to do a new market. What am I going to do? And he's like, I'm going to do PHP. And then he started going on to the PHP meetups. And then he just said to him one day, oh, do you want us to sponsor a meetup? And they were like, that'd be cool. Why not? We don't want you to sell. And it was the first time, like Randstad, I'd never been to a meetup, technical one. And it went from there. And then because we all then sort of decided what markets that I was doing, I do a lot of Golang, Ruby, Python and data, even though I should specialise in one thing. I've left Java, I've given Java away. I've given it to Steph very reluctantly, but she's got my baby now. But yeah, I do loads of Python, loads of data, loving Golang at the moment. So then you just, because we're in Runway East as well, which is all for tech startups and scale-ups, it's new to Bristol.
So you do meetups there?
Yes, we do them all there.
Oh, okay.
So we've got our own space. We do obviously Bristol Tech Volunteers meetups and all. It just sort of came about from our markets and just doing and it came from Steve as well doing.
Talk a bit about the process though. So before we decide, right, okay, I want to run a meetup or sponsor a meetup, Like, I guess what main thing is, I view it the same. You shouldn't be thinking from just your perspective as to, okay, how can we get candidates and clients from this? You got to view it from thinking about the people attending and giving value, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think you have to find something that the industry is lacking. Like with Bristol DevOps on Meetup, if you signed up to it died to death basically, and there was no one running it. So Steve just picked it up and was like, oh my God, no one's running this. I need to pick this up. Steve's like the best DevOps crew ever. He's amazing.
Really?
And he just picked it up because no one had looked after it for the last 12 months and had picked it up. But you've got to find something that is really needed. You can't just run something, I'm just going to pick something out of thin air and just run with it. You need to think really hard. And I've had this question a couple of times from friends who have started up their recruitment company going, should we do this as a meetup? I was like, I don't think people are going to come. So you need to look at other meetups which are out there. Why is yours going to be different? Why are people going to come to yours? People are busy, it's after work, they're tired, they've got kids, families, etc. Why is your meetup going to be different? And literally start with a really good idea. Like we launch our next meetup on Wednesday, which is Southwest Lit, and we've thought about it and planned it for ages, and sort of got people excited about it. Is this going to be, are they hungry for this? Will it work? And when we started speaking to people about it, they're like, yeah, this sounds amazing. So when we got enough interest, we were like, right, we're going to launch Meetup.
I think just to add on that, I would add like speech and market. Do you know what I mean? Like I think again, and I'll ask you this after this, but I think it's just about thinking differently when you're having these conversations and not just having your recruitment head on and thinking, because really what you're talking about there, that's marketing really. Do you know what I mean? So what you've done is when you're having these conversations, and that's probably helped you think of these ideas, is that, I had like these conversations over the last couple of weeks and they're all talking about there isn't enough diversity in our market. Why don't we try and put something around that? So it's actually proactively and consciously speak to your market and go, okay, well, what challenges are these people always talking to me about, and those things, and then actually use that information, because they're the people that are going to be attending anyway. Do you know what I mean? So,
and that's where Southwest Lit has come from. It's exactly that what you
said. So it's there. It's be smart, do your research, but speak to your market, and then again have the audience in mind. Don't think about it from your perspective and what you want. Think about, okay, if people do attend, what are they going to get out of it? Why would they attend, and those things. Okay, two other things that I always like to talk about. And I think you do this quite well, is personal branding. I talk about this a lot. If I look at your website, I mean, look, there's a pug on there holding a glass of Prosecco. Don't know how many recruitment companies would be happy to do that. So like, what's your view on that? I know you do a lot, like obviously doing all these events, you've got your own personal brand and you've invested in it. Like, what's your view on that? And like, when did you start taking that seriously?
I think I'm a really weird person.
Really? Well, you've got red hair for starters.
Well, yeah, it's wild. But my weirdness came out, and I think at Randstad they used to have a book that says Alicia Says, from all the comments that came out, like,
Alicia Says? Yeah,
Alicia Says, like, is Christmas Day the 25th of December in Australia? And
all right, just like weird random quotes.
Is McDonald's Scottish?
Okay.
Just really random, just stupid things. And then I was like, I'm gonna start like doing mail shots or sending clients really weird messages that get me noticed. So like one client that I've always wanted to get in with, and I still haven't now. I've tried for 5 years, and he still messaged me saying, "No, Alicia, sorry to say that voice," and I sent him a picture of a white rhino. And he that's it.
Really?
Yeah. And I just put in the subject rhino, and he went and he emailed me back and he said, "Why are you sending me a picture of a rhino?" I said, "Have you ever seen one of these before?" And he was like, "No." And I sent him a candidate, and I went, "Bet you haven't seen him before."
Oh my God, that's so cheesy.
Yeah,
I love it though.
Cheesy.
That's class.
And like the other day, and I always say to the guys, I say, be unique, be different. Like, don't worry about what other people think. Like, they're gonna, if they worry about what they think, then they're gonna be thinking about you. So there's a company in London called Yoti, and they do, like, you know, when Monzo, when you set up a bank, you have to do a picture of your face and speak about it. Well, they do that. So they do scan your picture for identity. So I was like, they had loads of content, and I was like, I want to get this client on. Like, this seemed really cool. Just randomly came across them. And so their opening of their website says, "Take a selfie here." So I screenshotted, I snipped their thing and just took a picture of myself like this.
Yeah.
And then put it on top of their logo and said, insert selfie here, and just sent a picture like that. And I was like, so I know you're looking for a Golang developer. I've got this guy. What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. And just sent it to them. And they were like, interesting. But even the way that I speak, and this is my brand, what I always say is, I speak to people. I speak when I'm putting things on social media to anyone, like I would speak to.
Yeah, you're being authentic. You're being yourself.
Or anywhere else. And like, even like Nave speaks. He's very literate. Literate. Really good with English. I'm awful at English. It's awful. My spelling's bad. Everything. But I know what I'm talking about. Like, people know what I mean. Like, so what if they're there or who, whatever. And I just say, like, I put peace on the end of my LinkedIn messages. I know it's a professional network, but so what? And I put,
but you're being you.
I put a picture of a giraffe the other day, just randomly. Like, I think I make myself laugh. I don't care if I don't make anyone else laugh. But your uniqueness is just being yourself. Do not get stuck in what other people want you to be.
No.
Like, have something different. If you're in the tech industry, people want you to be different because tech is different. It's cool, it's unique. Don't wear a suit. Well, you can wear a suit. Sorry, I shouldn't say don't wear a suit. But
no, just be you. Be yourself.
Be you. Like, don't worry about what other people think so much, because if you do, you will literally be the same person that says, even Maz has come in from another company. He's worked in the Lloyd's London financial services market. He's with London to us today, and he said to me last night, should I wear a suit tomorrow? I said, don't you dare wear a suit.
Really?
And like, even his emails are so like formal, and mine are like, hey, want this candidate, really good, 65 grand, available immediately, let me know, cheers, bye. And he's like, good afternoon, my name is Marisol. So
but that's him being him, though.
Yeah, of course. But that's him being him because that's how he's been told to be, not who he wants to be.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So just add a little something about you, and it will work, and you'll build relationships like you wouldn't believe.
I love that. I don't know if that means everyone listening should start sending pictures of white rhinos to
don't.
No, look, I totally get where you're coming from, and
just
I think
do something a bit different.
But I think this also,
things.
I think a big part of this is that you now own your own business, right?
Yeah.
So you call the shots. Do you know what I mean? And you're building the business that you want, and I think that's the amazing thing about personal branding, is that no one can take that away from you. It's Alicia Teagle. This is who you are, and I think that is the great thing about it, is that is everyone's biggest asset. It's their network, it's their reputation, it's what people say behind closed doors. And I think great advice, and I think it is from day one, as quickly as you can, although it is difficult at the beginning, be yourself, because trying to manufacture someone else or try and be certain things because you think that's what people want isn't sustainable, and it's not going to work long term. Do you know what I mean? Cool. Look, before I let you go, then, what's your view on mindset in recruitment? I know, because I think you have it quite naturally. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're clearly someone that cracks on, ride the fucking difficult times. You're clearly doing well. You're saying you don't worry about other people's opinions, whereas that's a real problem in today's world, right? There's so many people paralyzed by people's opinions, and that's really helps in recruitment. But it seems like you sort of naturally, you're just smashing it. But like, what is there anything that, I don't know, that's helped you go through those things that's worth talking about quickly?
I think I'm sometimes really good at hiding it as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
balling out.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There's like, it's so easy to put on a front.
Yeah, of course
I can really easily put on a front, and there are times where I just go home like, to the dog. Like, I wish, and honestly, like, so many people say to me, how do you do what you do, or how do you do this? Like, women rock, you juggle this. I love what I do. Like, and
so that's what I mean, really, that's what you're saying, is like, you love what you do. Yeah. So in your head, it's not work.
Yeah, no, it's not. I love coming to work every day. Yeah. With success comes money.
Yep.
I'm not money driven anymore. That has completely gone out the window. Like, when I was asked me that 4 years ago, I was like, when's my next? I need money. I need more money. I need to place more people. That is so gone. I'm not money driven anymore. Because I care about other things. Yeah, like that's just completely gone. And when I was speaking to Chris the other day, he's like, you've just had your best ever month. Like, and I did like a crazy like month. I don't like speaking about figures, etc. But, and I was like, yeah.
It's weird you say that. I was speaking to Anila previously about this, is like when I had my biggest paycheck in recruitment, I remember just looking at my phone and was like, oh, I don't feel anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's
mad.
weird. I know, it's so weird. And because my buzz comes from other things now, my buzz comes from helping people. Like Women Rock is like my biggest thing ever. Like I absolutely love it. Like if it baffles me how companies are still having diversity problems. Like you can hire the most diverse company if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
Get someone who knows it. There are some amazing diversity and inclusion consultants. There's amazing recruiters out there. Me. That can help. And like, I love doing Women Rock, and I'm changing Women Rock to something which is going to be announced very soon.
Cool.
And find something that you love about that, whether it be like if you love AI or if you love machine learning, something like that. And just love it.
What's helped you throughout is you've ended up, and what I like to say to that is like, you're not going to, like, I think it's fair to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't love every single part of your job, right?
No, of course
There's
not.
parts that you don't enjoy doing, but you have to do. Mm-hmm. But I think that's what I always used to say to candidates when I was helping them through the whole career changing stuff, is like, for me, it's about aiming for a job that you love 90% of the time. And you are going to have to do things that you don't like, but it's about, if you're doing a job where only like 30, 25, 10% of the time you actually enjoy doing it, it's like, you need to fucking see, like, this is real shit.
Yeah.
You spend a lot of time in work, in your career, you need to change that. But there's always, because it's the classic now, it's like, follow your passion, but it's like, that isn't quite practical. It's like, actually, you are going to do stuff that you don't like, but you need to make sure the majority of the time you're doing things that actually you enjoy and you love, and those things, right?
Yeah.
So I think all you're saying there is that, and it's very clear and apparent the way you're talking about it stuff, which is great to see, but it's like, when you do generally really enjoy a lot of the things that you do, you're not going to be stressed and those things, because you're willing to give it your all, because it's something you really enjoy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it.
Amen.
Love it. So look, what are you excited about? So you've mentioned quite a few things, but before I let you go, what are you excited about in your world?
Sleeping. No, what am I excited about? I am 30 in February next year, so I've got a list of 30 things to do before I'm 30. One of them was buy a house that I bought on the 22nd of December, which is amazing. But I also had like weddings, buying a house. Like the end of last year was mental. It was so mad.
So what, you're 30 now?
And I'm 30 in February next year.
Okay.
So I've got 30 things to do before I'm 30. I want to go to Australia. Want to do a skydive over the Palm in Dubai.
Oh.
Want
So you made the list?
Yeah, I've made a 30 before 30 list. And other things I'm excited about are just seeing what we can do with the business. Like, I sometimes sit back, and we all do, all 4 founders, and we just go,
how the fuck is this happening?
How are we doing
Mad,
it? Like, and I've said it a couple of times, people do go, how are you doing it? And like, I don't really know, like, we just do it. And I'm excited to grow. I'm so excited to see my little babies, my little girls, not babies, like the girls in work, and the boys, of course, just like flourish and just
thrive,
do so well. Like, and I just can't wait to see what they do. Hopefully get another work trip in. We were in Amsterdam a couple of weeks ago, and it was mental. And yeah, what I'm about to launch, Southwest Lit, hopefully go into different areas. Obviously, we've got a huge account at the moment, so can't wait to see where that leads and what we can do with it, and really change the culture of a huge corporate company and take hopefully some control over it. And yeah, and
loads of things.
Just enjoy being 30 and find a husband.
Love it.
But life.
Awesome. So
tomorrow.
Look, what I always obviously I'd like to ask before you leave, if you could communicate to every recruiter, they'd listen to Alicia, they'd take on your advice, they'd implement your advice tomorrow. Could be a phrase, sentence.
Okay.
What would you say?
Should I say my favourite quote?
Go on.
It's not going to resonate to everyone.
It's a bit cheesy.
No.
Okay, go on. Just say it now.
I've got 2 though.
All right, well, say the one that you was going to say first, and then you can do the other
first one is, the secret to being a kick-ass woman in a male-dominated industry is just to be really fucking good at it.
Okay.
And the second one is, well-behaved women rarely make history.
Amazing.
But in terms of that, like, ending words would just be, just fucking go and smash it. Yeah.
Nice and simple.
There you go.
Awesome. Look, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.